Hi guys, this is Ben from Axon. So today I'm going for a ride to just show you some of the features of the app and also let you see the display working along with the app working as well. And we're also going to go through how to use the function keys on the bike. So I'm just going to pull over here and go through some of the information with you. So firstly, I'm going to start with the display. Now this is a color display. It is not our display, it is an off-the-shelf display that we've customized. We've changed the UI and some of the functions on it. The primary reason we've done this is to keep the costs down, but it's a really nice color, waterproof display that we've adapted for our use. So firstly, what I'm going to do is start with the display, and I'm going to show you what information you can see on it and give you a good idea of what it looks like while it's working. So I'm going to move a little bit closer so you can see it more easily. We start with up in the top left hand corner where you have your controller temperature. Then we move down to your speed. This can be shown in kilometers an hour or in miles per hour. Then at the top we have your battery voltage and state of charge. Then this D number is your power modes. So the power modes can be cycled through D1, D2 and D3. Now this is directly customizable through the app here. You have three different power modes. Which you can fully customize. You can adjust the power in kilowatts, the motor torque, and the maximum RPM for each one. This will then be usable through your function switches on the display. Then you have your trip meter and odometer down here at the bottom. And finally, up the top on the right hand side, you have your motor temperature, and you also have a section which is interchangeable between kilowatts, RPM, newton meters of torque, and DC and phase current. Finally, on the right hand side here, we have a set of gear selection lights. This will allow you to adjust between drive, neutral and reverse if I hold it. When I take my finger off the function key, it drops back into neutral, and then you can drop it into drive. Incidentally, when the bike is first turned on, I will show you it powering. It does start in neutral as standard, but you can adjust this to start in drive. Let me show you here. Turn it on. So we always start in neutral. You can adjust this through the app to start in drive mode, but we believe that it's better to start in neutral and then confirm when you're ready to go, just to avoid any issues. So now I'm going to do a quick video on the dashboard for you, which will show you how the dashboard functions. We have a number of cool features on the dashboard, and I'm just going to go through it very quickly. First of all, you have your speed in miles per hour. You have your power in kilowatts. You have your motor RPM, you have the battery voltage, the controller temperature, the motor temperature, and you also at the bottom have this cool graph where you have a few options to display some telemetry data. Now, once I get going, you will see this graph populate with information, but you can have a graph that shows torque, newton meters requested versus newton meters output, RPM versus kilowatts, voltage drop, and also DC current versus voltage. So if I just go for a quick ride now, you will see these graphs populate and you'll get an idea of how the dashboard works while you're moving. So now I'm just going to take you for a little ride to show you how the dashboard works while you're riding. And you can also see the display in use as well to give you an idea of what information it shows and what you can do with the information. And you can see that telemetry data populating on the phone. So now we can have a look at it. It's going to turn around and take us into the shade a little bit so we can have a look at some of this data. So as you can see, the graphs is now populated and you can see all of the information that is available. So you can see your torque newton meters requested versus newton meters output. You can mouse over this so you can see the individual peaks and troughs of the graph, so you can get a good idea of what your system is doing. You can also see power in kilowatts versus RPM. You can check the RPM of the motor. Same again, you can mouse over and use the individual peaks and troughs to see what you're peaking at. Voltage, you will get your voltage drop and your maximum voltage drop. So obviously at the moment I've got no voltage drop because I'm not moving, but my max voltage drop during that ride was 2 volts. And then voltage versus DC. So we have DC current here and your voltage against that DC current. So you can see where your current is spiking and your voltage is dropping. So that's a little bit of the display and how it works on the dashboard. So now I'm going to talk very briefly about the function keys, how they work and what modes are available, along with the regen throttle. Now the function keys have quite a lot of functions with the controller. It's available for both the phase and the shock controller, which is released hopefully in September or October. So I'm just going to take you through how the functions work and what you do to make the different modes work. So what we've got here basically is a 4-button function switch. Some of the buttons have multiple functions. So we're going to start with the gear changes. So if you want to switch between drive and neutral, you press this bottom key here once, and then you can switch between both of them. So if I hit this bottom key between neutral and drive, if I hold it, I will drop into reverse. Reverse, you need to keep your hand held on the button and your bike will go backwards. The reverse mode and also the crawl speed mode is adjustable via the app. So if you're not comfortable with how fast the bike is reversing or crawling at stock, then you can adjust that motor RPM to get it just how you want it. Now we have the left and right arrow keys. These primarily cycle through your different power modes. You can see on the display there. You can cycle between D1, D2 and D3. As I said before, you can customize your ride modes in the app very, very easily. These are very simple to customize and you can just flip through them and save them and then you're ready to go. This will then be available on the bike. So then you have the top key on the function switch. Now to use this top key you have to be in drive mode. It will not work if you're in neutral. None of these modes will work if you're in neutral. If you're in drive, you can tap it once and this will put you into hill hold mode. This basically stops the bike from going backwards, applies some torque from the motor to stop the bike going backwards. So if you're on a hill and you need to hold your position, this is the perfect mode to do it. When you engage the throttle again, hill mode comes off. So if you need to balance your bike on a hill or on a steep slope, if you drop it into hill hold mode, it will allow you to get some extra traction and to hold your bike in place so you can then move away when you're comfortable to. In addition to this, there is also a coasting regen function. If I hold the top button for 4 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, and release, that will add or remove coasting regen. So now coasting regen is on. When I get to the point where I'm slowing down, the motor will add some regen braking for me. If you don't like this, you can turn it off by holding for 4 seconds again. 1, 3, 4, and then it goes. The final function that the top key has is the activation of our gyro modes. So the gyro modes are available through the throttles menu under angle. Now this is currently in beta, so there will be a disclaimer at the start. Thank you anyone who's asked for this to test. So there are 3 different modes on this. You hold the function key for 7 or 8 seconds. I normally count to 8 seconds and then release. There we go. And here you can see the angle is at 53 currently. This is what I've got it set to in the app. So you can adjust this angle to whatever angle you prefer. We've found it around the late 40s, early 50s is a good angle to sustain a wheelie. If you're doing it for wheelie, for example. But there are other modes as well where you can adjust the angle. Once you've adjusted the angle and saved, you will see that the angle will also save on your display. So it's a pretty simple, intuitive system to use with the app. It's very easy. We do obviously want to make tweaks to it over time, so we will be adjusting that based on rider feedback. But that is the function of the gyro along with the function keys. Finally, if I remove this gyro function here, just hold for 7 seconds and then release. There we go. We also have walk mode or crawl mode. So you can see from here, if I hold the left hand function key, I have a little snail there. This will allow you basically to use the bike's torque to move very slowly. So if you need to push the bike for any reason, you can basically use it to help push the bike along. If you're, for example, pushing it up a hill, pushing it somewhere heavy, or you just don't want to push the bike, you can push it at sort of 2 or 3 miles an hour. The RPM speed for this is fully adjustable on the app. So if you don't like the setting that it's used at as standard, you can adjust it, make it slower. You can have the bike going 2-3 miles an hour, something nice walking speed, so you can get some help with the bike, pushing it up somewhere, pushing up a slope, ramp, hill, or just pushing the bike if you don't want to push it yourself. Finally, we have the regen throttle. Now the regen throttle, like the normal throttle, is fully customizable. So if I go to the throttle modes here, you will see there is an option for your normal throttle, which you can adjust via a standard mode, which is responsiveness. That will adjust the graph and how responsive the throttle feels. You can also adjust it via the advanced mode, where you have launch and acceleration control. You can also calibrate the main throttle using this button down here if you need to. Then finally, you have the regen customization, which again has also an advanced mode. You have a response for that as well. And also then you have a start and end point for your regen throttle. You can adjust the amount of regen that you have, and also you can adjust the brake throttle priority. So this is the end of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm going to finish my ride now. If you do have any more questions, please email us on info@axon.racing. If you are an Axon customer already and have the app, you can use the help function to contact us. We're also available on social media, Facebook, Instagram, if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.